Hello, 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 and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Uncovering Greatness podcast. As always, I am your co-host, Sully, and today I am joined by the lead processor at Uncovering Greatness, Nicole Mitchell. And what Nicole does is she helps you get out of the way of you because you are in your own way, but you just don't know it. Nicole?
Thank you, Sully.
Sweet.
I am very good. It's quite interesting you say that you're in your own way, and somebody asked me the other day, what do I do? And I said, I help you get out of the way of you, so whatever blocks are in the way. And they kind of went, well, can you help SARS, because they're blocking me. And that was the end of the conversation.
I would imagine that would be. I can't help a whole organization like that.
So, no, I work with people one-on-one. I help you individually, not you as South Africa.
If you did that, you'd probably stop doing this very quickly. Just the level of stress would freak you out. Thank you for joining us. We've been doing this now for the full year, but more so this month. Well, no, November. We just got into December. It's how crazy it is. We were talking about December so much in November, I thought we were in December. I became one of those people.
You went on holiday, you checked out.
Yeah.
One of those people.
Checked out. Still don't have a Christmas tree up, but hey, it's Christmas time. Yes, so we've been talking a lot about what Nicole does and processing and the technologies of Alan C. Walter. And I think one of the things that I've been wanting to do for the whole of the year, but I'm always getting shut down, now I forced it in, is a chapter, well, it's a topic chapter from this book called The Secrets to Increasing Your Power, Wealth and Happiness, or How to Be in the Zone by Alan C. Walter. And the crazy thing is, because we were just talking about it before we started recording, is that this book was probably published or written and published around between 1994 and 2004.
So it was, 94.
So 94, so we're looking at roundabout there. And the topic is, or the chapter is, I have to read it because I like the way they put it. Our awesomely over-communicated society. And it's funny because I was thinking about it. It really clicked for me when we got to because we went to pick up Barry yesterday at the airport.
Yes.
And just going to the airport, there was what felt like 1,000 billboards. And I was like, there's a lot of communication going on right now, and I'm being communicated to a lot. Would you say that we are overly communicated right now in the year 2024? I was about myself.
Well, I mean, Alan talks about it in 1994, just how overly communicated we are. And today I think it's even worse because, I mean, you have Google that's tracking you or Facebook that's tracking you, and you can't even, I mean, I just know if I talk dogs, for example, or cats, the next thing, all these Facebook ads are going to pop up around dogs and cats and or pet flippin' toys or whatever.
Off on the shelf.
Elf on the shelf. Christmas time, yes. Let's get some elf on the shelf going on your phone.
I swear, that happens.
But, so our phones are listening to us, our laptops are listening to us, those kind of things. So the moment you talk about something, the next thing it's popping up on all your social media feeds.
Yeah.
Whereas previously, I mean, when Alan wrote this book, you were just driving down the highway checking billboards and you were getting flyers in the mail and that sort of thing. So you had way more of a choice of how much you actually saw in 94. Whereas today, that stuff just pops up in front of you. And I mean, I was laughing. There was a meme that came up on my Facebook feed. The kid sitting in front of the TV and the parents saying, don't sit too close to the TV, you're going to ruin your eyes. And that was in the 90s.
Yeah.
And then 2000, we have screens all the time.
It's not just kids.
And it's not just kids. And you've got also like guys wearing the goggles with the AI stuff and the gaming and all those kind of things. So, I just had such a chuckle because that is what's happening is stuff is being brought closer to us. So going back 30 years ago, we actually could decide if we wanted to go through the flyers in our mail. We could decide about magazines, newspapers, those kind of things. Today it's very unusual to see a newspaper, and we don't see the ads in the newspaper and the yellow pages and all those kind of things. And some people don't even know what the yellow pages are.
What are you talking about? And it's funny because I think it was about 2-3 weeks ago at Sales Explosion, me and Barry were talking about the times of waiting for, TV to start, right? Open time, with...
TV only started at 5 o'clock, something like that.
And companies could only run their ads during that time period, right? Whereas now, exactly like you're saying, you just go onto Facebook and you're being communicated to.
And all the time, and everywhere you go. Even ads on cars and bumper stickers and things like that. And going back 20 years ago, we didn't have those kind of things. People were a lot more conservative with their cars and things like that. Whereas today, it's there's advertising all over the place.
Yeah.
Red Bull has their flippin' car, and there's all sorts of things. And we are being communicated to all the time. If you went to the supermarket 30 years ago, there was 5 different brands of washing powder. Today you go to the supermarket and there's, 20 different brands of washing powder. Or there's 20 different types of supermarkets.
Such a panic to buy stuff now.
Or, previously it was, you'd go into the supermarket, there was only one place to buy your washing powder. Now you can go to the organic store, the natural store, the general store, I
can just sit at home and order it. I don't even have to go to the store anymore.
And sometimes I think that's almost easier because it's not so overwhelming because you have your brands and you know what you want. So that's why Checkers 60, I think has been such a hit is because people are not being bombarded with so many things. I want 5 things, I'm just going online, I'm going to press A, B, C, type in, milk, bread,
eggs,
whatever I need, and then it gets delivered to me, and I'm not bombarded with 5 million different things.
Yeah. Interesting.
So, and this is where people are actually starting to back off from stuff because we are exposed to so much, and you hear people say, I'm gonna people do fasting, for example. I'm going to fast social media for the week, or I'm going offline for the week, or those kind of things, and then people get irritated because they can't get hold of them.
Yeah, because you've taken going on a fast.
How come I can't get hold of you? I've sent you 50 messages and I've called you 25 times, and what's wrong with you?
I sent you an email, I sent you a Facebook, I sent you
I'm setting up the search bar to you, and it's been 10 minutes since I spoke to you. And that is what's happening in the world today is we're being so overly communicated to, and things like that, I can't get hold of you, where are you? I spoke to you 10 minutes ago, now you're not answering your phone, or you're online and you're not even answering my calls.
Do you know how many times Nicole has done that to me? I can see she's online, you're not answering me. What is going on? What did I do wrong? What happened?
And so what happens is it creates all this false expectation and all these emotions, and no wonder our society is becoming a society of taking drugs because I'm so anxious, I can't get hold of you. So my anxiety levels have gone through the roof because now we create all these perceived things
100%.
He doesn't want to speak to me. Why doesn't he want to speak to me? And who knows, I had a laugh this weekend because I take my dog for a walk and leave my cell phone in the car. Guaranteed I get back and there's 5 missed calls. and they're probably all from the same person.
Yeah.
It's like,
Freaking out.
it's 45 minutes that I went for a walk with my dog without a cell phone, and I've got 5 missed calls. And and also what happens, like you see people now is, if I use that example, going for a walk with my dog, it's now people are not listening to nature when they go. They're listening to music, they're listening to a podcast, they're listening to all these other things, and they're not actually taking time just to chill and unwind and listen to the birds and just go for a walk and let their mind become clear. They're still stuffing their mind with communication, like a podcast and this and that, and I need to learn and need to do all this stuff, and or they're on their phone the whole way around they're walking. Guilty as charged. So I got to the point now where it's like, no, I leave my phone in the car because, and then it is frustrating. I go for a walk and people are blaring music and they're talking, and it's like, where did peace and quiet go? And then people are going, all I want is some peace and quiet. But then,
it's fascinating.
but they're not actually allowing themselves to sit, watch the sunset, listen to the birds, and just be peaceful.
Yeah.
And people are actually like craving the communication because I don't want to be alone.
Oh.
So I need to check on my phone and see what's happening. But it's not fulfilling communication.
So would you also say that it's not effective communication? Could you just,
You're scrolling through Facebook.
What you said,
or you made a post and you're checking to see how many people responded to it. Like, how many people have watched my video? How many? And we're getting, like, how come no one's watched my video? What's wrong with it? What happened? I must suck. And we're replacing meaningful, heartfelt communication with emotions and sort of actually talking to people to find out how they are. We're replacing it with social media that actually is just creating all this anxiety and all these false, and I say false, they're emotions that don't need to be there.
That is fascinating because you said that, and I think a crucial word you used there was, it's creating it, right? You can choose not to have that communication. Like you say, so more and more people are leaning more towards, I'm not going to go out, I'm just going to order everything I need. So like I have a friend who, everything, her whole life is online in terms of ordering stuff. Does not go to the shops because the level of anxiety when she does go to the shops goes through the roof because there's just so much noise. So how would so let's just, I don't want to, because I feel like you become a recluse if you're not just going to sit at that.
So, and this is where
dangerous?
It becomes dangerous, and this is where you have to know who you are, and be clear on what is being communicated to you.
Okay.
So I use the example of, let's say I want to buy a new car. Okay, so now I start looking at a Kia, let's say a Sonnet. Okay, I can guarantee you I will see 10 of them today.
Yeah.
Whereas this morning on my way to work I saw nothing because I wasn't interested in Kia, I wasn't focused on Kia, I wasn't thinking about it.
Okay.
So now, because I've set my attention and my brain is actively, I'm looking for a car, now every time I see that car, my brain brings it to my attention. Okay, so my brain, just like what Facebook does, you put your attention on something, Elf on the Shelf, come on, Elf on the Shelf. You put your attention on something, Facebook brings it up. It's already there on Facebook. It's there in the, it's on the web, it's on the algorithm. But because I put my attention on it and I said Elf on the Shelf, Facebook just brings it to the surface. Our brains do the same thing. We have this reticular activating system at the back of our brains. It's a tiny little thing back of your brain, and it now will highlight all those things that you put your attention on. So, for example, now, between now and the time I go to sleep, I will see Kia Sonnet. And because my brain is suddenly going, look for it, look for it, look for it. Okay. So we have the power to choose those things. So when you go out, you can also shut those things down and say, I'm not interested, I am looking for this. This is what I'm going to do. So when I go shopping and I go to, I don't know, Checkers, Pick and Pay Spar or whatever it is, I am going for milk, bread, eggs and, I don't know, sausages.
That's it.
That's it. And now I need to be deliberate and focused around, I'm going for milk, bread, egg and sausages.
Yeah.
Not go, ooh, there's chocolates in here. Ooh. I wonder, oh, check all the Christmas decorations. I mean, some people you speak to and they have no idea that there's even Christmas decorations out. Why?
Yeah.
Because they are so focused and they're so, like, I am going to do A, B, C, that they are, like, they are so present to those things that they are not, they shut everything else out. But the moment you start talking to people about Christmas decorations, I don't know if I've seen any. And then you walk into the shop, oh, there's lots everywhere. You go to the airport, oh, they've even got Christmas decorations at the airport. Oh, you know, they've got this. And so now I'm present to Christmas decorations. But if I'm present to what's actually happening and the real things going on around me, I can cut all the noise out. But I have to be present to that. And I have to be, you know, present to what is being communicated to me and what I want communicated to me.
What you said around, it was just a little bit of a mind blow for me. Been doing Facebook for like 10 years. What you said around, what you put your, and this is like the real world example you use, what you put your attention on is what you see, what you end up seeing. Literally that's what Facebook is.
Yes.
It's once you engage with something and it's not even, it's about a 2 to 3 second stop on a post, on a video, whatever it is.
Correct.
And now they're going to start showing you all of that. That's what, I mean, that happened to you yesterday with Elf on the Shelf, right?
Yes.
You showed one Elf on the Shelf thing and then all of a sudden your
My
whole feed
is flooded with Elf on the Shelf.
And it's funny because you were like, I don't do this, I've never done this. It wasn't like you were trying to get ideas for Elf on the Shelf. It was just, oh, you like Elf on the Shelf? Here's Elf on the Shelf for days. And it's so fascinating that that's essentially how, I mean, like when I thought about it, I was like, that's probably how these social media platforms have re-engineered.
Well, so everything, and Alan actually talks about it like this. He said, everything man is creating already exists. So man has just created like social media based on what man does. So we you know, in terms of Facebook's a great example. We have a reticular activating system that makes us aware of, you know, Elf on the Shelf or a Kia range of vehicles, or, you know, maybe it's, I don't know, something some cleaning product, or, you know, let's say KFC, I don't know, Zinger wings or something. From not seeing it at all, the moment you discuss it, you see it everywhere. And that's how your reticular activating system works. Facebook does exactly the same. In terms of the web and all of these things, they already exist. We just don't think about it as, oh, we do that.
It's very true.
So how do we communicate with people? You know, if you are like very present with yourself, you will think of somebody, and then maybe I should phone them, and you phone them, and they go, oh, I'm so glad you phoned me.
Yeah, I was actually going to call you.
I was going, yeah. Well, that's exactly the same thing, but that's what happens. We reach out to people instinctively. We like, and so social media, technology, all of those things. It's just they already exist. Man's just created what already exists. We just have become lazy. Social media and technology does it for us, so we don't have to be present. So, for example, you go out to dinner and you see two young people that are supposed to be madly in love with each other and staring at each other's eyes. They're not doing that anymore. What are they doing? They're staring at their phones and they're sending YouTube clips or whatever to each other, memes and what have you. And instead of being madly in love with each other, they're madly in love with their phones. And so then they get married and then they wonder why their relationship doesn't work. I didn't know that about you.
Because I don't know you. Yeah.
Because I don't know you, because I know the memes you sent me. And I go, but you have such a sense of humour. And you're going, like, where's your sense of humour gone? And the person's going, I've never had one of those, you know.
I use the memes as somebody else created it.
Yes.
And I get to share that with you because I thought it was funny. I didn't come up with this, I just found it.
100%. And so this is where technology, and we're being over communicated, overstimulated, over exhausted, because and this is the other thing. I mean, in years gone by, TV come 11 o'clock, that was it. TV was done, shut down, finished, last program. Now you have Netflix, you have MyFlixer, you have whatever you want, Showmax, whatever, 24/7. You can sit and watch movies for. You don't even have to go looking for Christmas movies in the middle of July.
No.
You just type in Christmas movies on your Netflix, and it brings up every Christmas movie since 1990.
I mean, it is so fascinating from a communication standpoint how the world has shifted. And I mean, even if you look at it from like a business standpoint, right? Like we were speaking about TV, so businesses could run their ads at a specific time, which meant that the ad spend was higher because you needed to be able to afford that because that was capturing people's attention.
Correct.
Now all of a sudden, people's attention is so short. I mean, you always speak about a study around people being present that was done a few years ago by Times Magazine.
Yeah, during COVID.
During COVID. You see, it wasn't that long ago. It was like
Yeah, it was 2021.
2021. And the attention span, people's, sorry, not their attention span, their ability to be present was?
9 seconds.
9 seconds. Like, there's not much that can happen in 9 seconds, right? 9 seconds is pretty
there's
quick.
a lot.
There is. There's a lot. Okay, 9 seconds is pretty quick. It's pretty long, actually. But nowadays, as you say, you're getting communicated to, businesses are trying to basically take your money out of their pockets through what they're doing. From a business standpoint, right, how would you say, like, find a way to not overly communicate to your customers? What would be sort of that? Just one, two things.
I wouldn't even know where to start. I think it's engaging people in enough space that they, you see, and I think this is the problem. There are so many things. People are trying to get everybody's attention, and it's just, you know, and so it's challenging. But I think you've got to be, are you adding value to your client? That's got to be the first thing. And I mean, we had the conversation the other day. We can post a whole lot of stuff on business and learning, and then you put a happy birthday post out, and everybody watches the happy birthday post and responds and reacts to it, and yet the happy birthday post technically is not adding value to anybody else.
True.
It was Barry's birthday, so you put out a post to say happy birthday Barry, and what, 200? You had, I think, 200. Like, I think we worked it out that in total,
it was about,
there was 3 or 4 posts. There was Michaela put out a post, I put out a post, Uncovering Greatness put out, so 3 posts.
3 posts about, in terms of comments and stuff, probably about 200, and just on his wall, and just on Barry's wall as well.
And just in terms of, and so
that's just comments.
Those were comments. Now we put out a business post. We do this podcast. We add huge value to people, and we'll get 3 comments.
Yeah, it's like, wait, what happened?
But it's perceived value. So where are you adding value? So people perceive they are adding value to Barry by saying happy birthday.
Okay.
But essentially, where are we adding value? And this is where it's so important for you to understand what value are you looking for? What is it that you actually want?
Yeah.
Or are you just scrolling for the sake of scrolling?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's interesting, like, you bring up the podcast, that it's always fascinating to me. So, like, we may not get comments, like you said, we maybe get 2 or 3 comments on the podcast itself, but we get way more feedback from people in person.
100%. People go, oh, you know, and I'm sure somebody will make a comment to me in the next week about Elf on the Shelf.
Yeah.
Well,
I saw the podcast. And you like, they'll say it to you next week, and
Yeah.
you'll be like, what are you talking about? Oh no, watch the podcast, you're talking about often. And it's like, oh wow, okay. You don't comment it on the actual podcast, but in person. So would you say that, because my brain says to me that level of value is a lot higher
100%.
than just a mere comment on a post, versus like actually coming to you and saying, wow, that was really awesome, I really enjoyed that podcast. And that's been the fascinating thing for me around like the way people have been communicating
But
with us.
that's where it's effective communication, whereas like in terms of, like Barry even said, it's easy to push a button on Facebook that says happy birthday. It's a lot harder to type a message on WhatsApp and say, hey Barry, thinking of you, happy birthday. It's even harder to pick up the phone and give him a call
Yeah.
and say, oh, you know, I was just thinking of you, happy birthday.
And then it's even harder to get into the car and go to him wherever he is and sit down with him for an hour, happy birthday, I'm in your presence. That's interesting.
And so it's where are you looking at effective communication, because just sending a message on Facebook is bombarding people. So, and this is where it's like we use social media, but we don't use social media to sell and to connect with people. We use social media to keep people in our world, but in terms of connecting, personal phone calls, selling in our space, like come to a free event, those kind of things. So we're bringing people into our space so that they get effective communication. And they get real value as opposed to just here's an ebook.
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating because we're ending Circle of Influence and we're moving to Entrepreneur Hangout. So we were going from a weekly breakfast to a monthly breakfast. And I've been tasked with calling the list of people who have attended Circle in the past. And I was doing the calls last week. And one of the ladies I had called actually came to Circle. And she hadn't been in our world for just like 8 months, maybe a little bit longer. And she said to me, I'm really loving the content that you guys are putting out on Facebook and YouTube. And I was like, oh, you've been watching that? And she's like, yes. And I've really been enjoying it. Like it's kept me going. It's been very difficult to come to you guys because I've been busy, but now I've had the opportunity, so that's why I'm here today. Honestly, I was not looking at it like that. So like based off what you explained this is all just a value add, keep you in our space, keep you in our world. But when we really want to connect with you, but when we really want to connect with you and make like a meaningful connection and have effective communication, we pick up the phone and we call you, because that just takes it up to a whole new level, right?
Correct. And if you think yourself, would you rather get a phone call from someone, or would you rather get a little Facebook post that says happy birthday?
Honestly, a phone call. I think I've still got people who wish me happy birthday from like 3 years ago that I haven't said thank you to. So I'll take a phone call.
But if you take the world as a whole, people are they are feeling more and more alone. People are becoming more and more depressed.
Yeah.
Because they are being over-communicated with stimulation, not over-communicated with connection.
Yeah.
So we're being stimulated with Facebook ads, we're being stimulated with billboards, with all the stuff we see, but we're not being effectively communicated to by people, one-on-one. So people think social media is a replacement for, and social media can be dangerous if you do that.
Yeah.
Because people go, oh, look what this person's doing. Oh, they're traveling the world. Oh, they must be earning so much money. And they must be doing this and they must be doing that. Only for you to find out that they have a rich uncle that's invited them here, there and everywhere and is paying for everything. And you have this perception of, how can they be earning so much money from that job? And
my life sucks.
My
They
life
must
so
be
bad.
stealing.
They must be
Like,
whatever it is. And when you actually find out the truth is nothing like what you think it is.
And that's the thing, right? Just it is what you're getting communicated to, right? And I mean, right now, I feel like we live in an age where I would say millions and millions of dollars are being spent on your attention.
That's what people are competing for.
Yeah.
Your attention.
And it doesn't matter if it's effective or ineffective. It's just communication now.
No, you're just being bombarded with stuff. The more stuff I throw at you, it's like throwing mud on the wall. It's
Hopefully
gonna
something's
stick.
gonna stick.
It will stick if I throw enough of it. It's
Yeah.
gonna stick. And so it's important for you to just be aware of how are you communicating. What are you doing? So like, you know, a lot of people in our community go, oh, I haven't heard from you. And it's like, well, we're on Facebook, and you need to go and, I say, look for us, because we're not throwing stuff at you all the time.
100%.
But if you are deliberate about, you know, the things you want to connect with. So like, I'm very deliberate in terms of my Facebook feed, other than
Off on the shop.
That was so funny, because how it happened is we were actually, like, we were talking Elf on the Shelf, because Michaela came home and she said, oh, I'm so glad I didn't have that when I was growing up. And I was like, yeah, and we were discussing, you know,
Off on the shelf.
Elf on the Shelf as, you know, Christmas, and I kind of said, well, you know, you've got to come up with 25 ideas, and then next year you've got to come up with another 25, and anyways, so now my feed is filled with Elf on the Shelf, because I was discussing it, and of course then it becomes funny because you start looking at it.
Yeah.
And now I am, like, my whole Facebook feed is Elf on the Shelf, and I was killing myself laughing because I was showing Sully a picture, and then I was like, oh flip, I've just allowed more Elf on the Shelf, because I stopped on that flippin' picture for so many seconds or whatever. So because my attention went there, it's now more and more of it is coming up. But typically I'm very deliberate around what I want on my Facebook feed. So I get, you know, so like for example, if you go to my Facebook feed, it's pretty simple. There's CrossFit, there's dogs, and there's recipes. That's about it.
Clean.
It's clean.
That's a pretty clean, yeah.
Because that's typically what I would stop on and look at.
Yeah, that's your interest in terms of the social media space.
And yes, then I look at friends. Like I want to see what friends are doing. But in terms of from an advertising perspective, that's typically, and then I also go through and I will delete ads and remove them and say I don't want to see this.
I don't understand how people don't know that they can do that.
And so it's just understanding that you can do that. And that's where it's so important for you to look and go, okay, I do have a choice what I see.
Yeah.
You know, and some people, you know, if you are into, for example, guns, your Facebook feed will be filled with guns and all those kind of things, but there's a choice. And you have a choice what is communicated to you. But a lot of people are not even aware that it's a choice.
It's literally a choice, I would say, everywhere, right? Yes, you can go into like you said, if you're very clear on what you need to be doing. So I need to go to the shop to buy bread, milk, and eggs. What you're communicating to me about Black Friday is irrelevant to me right now because I'm here to buy milk, bread, and eggs. And I will leave with milk, bread, and eggs. And it's something that my wife gets very annoyed with me about because she says I make a lot of trips. And I'm like, for me, it's easier to stay focused on what I'm here to buy. The moment something else comes in, I'm gone. I'm now walking out with stuff that I know that I don't really need.
But it's like when you are hungry and you go shopping, it's one of the worst things to do because why? You're not present. And you land up buying all sorts of rubbish and things, and you buy, instead of just buying, you know, what am I cooking for dinner, you buy all sorts of things, and you buy chicken and you buy beef, and
you end up buying things you don't even like.
And then exactly, because you're hungry at, oh, this would be so nice, let's try it. And you got this full shop, and you get home and you're like, why did I even buy half this stuff?
No,
like,
I'm not even hungry anymore.
I'm not hungry anymore because I'm not present to I'm going shopping, because I've become present to I'm hungry, we then buy a whole lot of extra stuff. And that's why going to the supermarket is valuable for the supermarket.
Yes.
Whereas when I order online, duk duk duk, I buy my 4 things and that's it.
Yeah.
But
There's no upsell. Or that trick of the upsell.
correct. And oh here, try this or taste this or
Yeah. I hate those on weekends. One thing I hate doing is going to like any of this shopping centers, not shopping, what's this? Shopping stores on weekends, because that's when they do the free samples.
taste this, try this.
No.
But and this is where Black Friday has become so dangerous, is because I mean I had such a chuckle. I literally went to the grocery store to buy wrapping paper and a card, and the queues were like ridiculous because of Black Friday or Black Friday weekend or Cyber, whatever it's called, and all those kind of
Black
things.
Friday month now.
The store was crazy. Like, I'm so grateful that I had like 3 things, because the lady from, you know, the money market side said, come here. Otherwise I would have been at the store for an hour just to buy 2 things, because the queues, and I mean there was a couple that I was laughing, they had 3 trolleys and they loaded up the whole back of their, I don't know, SUV, and like they couldn't see out the back because there was so much stuff in the car. And like I question, yes, there's a time and a place to buy your stuff, but do you really need to do it? Or are you just buying because it's on sale and you're buying something you don't need? So like for me, I'm super grateful Barry's birthday is Black Friday weekend, because his birthday is the 30th of November. So we always manage to get him a really nice birthday present, because there's a deal on Black Friday. And so, but I'm not going out looking for 50 things on the Black Friday specials. I'm going, right, what is the thing I want? So let's say, I don't know, an air fryer. Okay, cool. What are the specials on an air fryer? Great. Then I'll get that, and Barry can get an air fryer for his birthday. Done. Finished. I'm not looking for 5 million things, and I'm not walking around the store going, oh, a new TV would be nice, and this would be nice, and that would be nice, and oh, let me buy all my Christmas alcohol for, because that's the other thing.
That was also a mind-blowing one.
People are going, I'm going to buy all my alcohol for Christmas now.
You know,
And then what happens?
Christmas is far.
Christmas is far. Christmas is 25 days away. Or 22 days. 22 now. But people are, between now and then, they're going, oh, well, we have all this alcohol. Let's have a party this weekend. And they're not actually saving because
saving just went backwards.
Because now they're going to drink it between now and Christmas and have to buy it again because, you know.
You just drank it.
It's there, it's at home, it would be nice to have, so let's drink it. As opposed to get it, put it in your garage, cover it up, lock it up.
Yeah, it doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist until Christmas Day. So, and this is where society is over communicating to us all the time, because that's exactly what they want you to do. They want you to consume. And I mean, we had a conversation with somebody the other day, and they were like, oh, the world has changed so much. You know, when I was growing up, my parents were able to afford a house. You know, today, my kids won't be able to afford to buy a house, and I can't afford to buy a house for them. And so we start, Barry starts laughing and goes, well, yes, the world has changed, but we've become a consumer society. So he said, you know, how many of these did our parents have?
None.
They had a landline.
Well, the one in the lounge, wherever it was.
They had a landline, that was it. Now the average family is paying for 4 to 5 cell phones.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not only the phone, now they're paying for data, now they're paying for games.
Oh, here's a tablet for an extra 200.
Now they're, and I mean, when we were kids, how many laptops did your household have?
Didn't. We had a computer
We had
with the tower in that room over there, and you had to wait your turn.
We had a standalone computer. So technology, while it's great, it's also consuming us. So previously, I mean, you had computer games that we had an Atari, and you wanted to play computer games, you sat in front and you played the games that you had, and that was it.
Yeah, you couldn't take it with you.
You couldn't, but also you didn't have to buy extra things to be able to get to certain levels.
You could buy one thing and get like 100 games on that one cartridge type situation.
Yes, and then you played all those games.
Yeah.
And so it's not that things have become more expensive, it's that there's so much more to consume. So people are now, it's not you wear the same shirt. Let's say, in terms of, you have a winter jacket. You can't wear the same one.
No.
One day in a row, like 2 days in a row. You have
to get a new one.
You have to have 5 different colours. Like
5 different days of the week.
Yes, and all those kind of things. So from a consumer perspective, there is so much that's been thrown at us for us to consume, and so it now becomes a status thing. So now, instead of a look after our money thing, we're now being overly communicated with what can I consume. So how much time can I spend on Facebook? How much time can I spend on YouTube? How much time can I spend on Netflix? And instead of, maybe spend some time in your garden, plant some plants. And so people are losing skills as well, because I'll just push a button and dinner will be delivered, as opposed to now I've got to cook. Well, I don't know how to cook, so instead of learning, so we're becoming more and more a society that is reliant on other people, as opposed to what skills are we learning? What are we doing? It's like what can I buy? What else can I buy?
What can I buy to make my life better?
Yes.
Or make my life easier, actually.
Correct.
Because that will make my life easier.
Scary. It's a very scary topic.
Yeah.
And
but fascinating in so many ways, just from like and I think like what you said in the beginning is so important around you choose what gets communicated to you. I think like it's exactly this, like if we are in this room and we're having a conversation and I don't like what you're saying, I'm gonna get up and walk away. I don't have to listen to you. I don't want to listen. I don't want to have this conversation, so I'm not going to. I choose that. You can do the exact same thing with social media. Like you said, you can tailor your feed to what your interests actually are, versus what people are doing nowadays, which is, and I agree with you there, like tailoring their feeds to what is making them more depressed. I'm like, why would you do that? Like you're just punishing yourself.
And people are not even aware that that's what they're doing. And so, with clients, like some of the things I'll say to them, how much screen time do you have? Like a client will come and complain that they don't sleep. Okay, so what do you do with your cell phone? Where does your cell phone live? So in our house, on our kitchen counter, that's where the cell phones live.
Okay.
So you put your charger there, you plug it in there, and your phone stays there on the kitchen counter. It does not go with you to bed.
Okay.
Because at 8 o'clock you put your phone down and then you go to bed to sleep. You don't go to bed to scroll through Facebook.
So people are going to bed at 8 and actually sleeping at 3.
Because people are not sleeping because they're spending all their time scrolling through their phone, and they don't realize, you can go and do all the research on blue light and all these other things, but just from the point of view of how much stimulation are you creating in your mind, and now you want your brain to shut down, but you've just been stimulating it for the last 2 hours while you were scrolling through Facebook. Now you want to go to sleep and you can't because
you're overly stimulated.
You're overly stimulated, and so it's just, if you're struggling to sleep, stop communicating to your brain. Put your phone down. Right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to read a book, a physical book, because there's no lights. It's black and white, and my brain is not being overly stimulated.
Yeah.
Right, read the book. Now I can go to sleep.
Yeah.
And so it's just having that awareness. And then you start, okay, so start with the basics. Like when somebody says they can't sleep, I was like, well, what time are you having your last energy drink of the day? Oh, well, I drink those all day, so probably about 8 o'clock. Well, no wonder you can't sleep.
You're wired.
Because you're wired. Right. The rule is no energy drinks after 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And people look at me and go, what? It's like, no energy drinks after 2 o'clock. Because I know myself, if I have an energy drink anytime after 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I will wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. It is guaranteed. So I know.
You choose.
I choose
Not
no
to
energy
consume.
drinks after 2 o'clock. And not that I'm a big fan of energy drinks, and not that I drink a lot of energy drinks, but I'm very aware of what they do to my body.
Yeah.
So if I'm looking to sleep, I'm going to choose how much I stimulate my body so that I can sleep.
Yeah.
I'm going to choose what I communicate to my body. I don't need my body stimulated after 2 o'clock so that I don't sleep at night.
It just doesn't make any sense.
But people are doing that because well, I need the energy. I can't get through the day without it. And then they wonder why they can't sleep. And then it's a vicious cycle because now they're exhausted because they haven't slept and now they need
I need
energy
the
drinks.
drink to keep me going, and I need to have that, and then I can't sleep, so then, yeah.
And so it's this continuous overstimulation of the wrong things at the wrong time. And this is where, our awesomely over-communicated society,
Yeah.
that's some of the things just to be aware of. Go back to basics. Stop and go, what am I communicating to myself, to other people? And then see, are you adding value to yourself? Are you adding value to others?
I think that's a great place to end this, because I don't think people realize what they're communicating to themselves. I don't think people stop to do that. I know that times I don't stop to do that. Like,
Correct.
I found myself a multitude of times watching wrestling videos on Facebook. It's not adding any value to my life. I know it's fake. I know it's not real. It just seems entertaining at that point in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for myself.
Yeah.
Hey, let me watch wrestling
Yeah,
videos.
leave me alone. I'm gonna be sad over here. That will make me feel better. And it actually never does.
It does.
It never does. Any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
I think that the biggest thing would be just, are you aware of what you're communicating to yourself and what are you communicating to others?
Indeed, indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a brand new episode of the Uncovering Greatness podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. Yes, as I mentioned in the beginning, we have 2 more Circle of Influences left for the year or forever. And then we are moving to Entrepreneur Hangout, which will start on January 16th, 2025. Super excited for that at the Fat Ginger. 600 Rand per person, full breakfast, full teaching. It's gonna be a smash, great way to start your year. And also I think this Thursday's circle is gonna be a really good one. How big is your game? I don't think people know what games they're playing, and you kind of just go into the new year hoping for better, but don't have a plan. This is a great event to attend. Yeah, you can book that on www.uncoveringgreatness.co.za. If you have any comments, thoughts, feedback, you found value, let us know in the comment section, or as you've been doing, let us know in person when we see you at one of our next events. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you guys next week. Be awesome.
Bye.